Hey everybody, welcome to our live stream here. I'm Sarah French, joined by one of our defenders, Alex Shabbat. Alex, thanks for calling in. It's so good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Sarah. Yeah, glad to do this for, our important segment. But yeah, great to see you.
So tell me about this story that you're working on. It's going to air tonight after Sunday Night Football. And I do want to add, as Alex is talking, if you guys watching have any questions, you can post your comments below and we can see them on our screen. And Alex or I would be happy to answer them for you. So what's this story about tonight, Alex?
So what really jumped out this story, first of all, this woman contacted Defenders, and we obviously deal with these and try to help people week after week with various struggles that they're having with the unemployment system. But what really jumped out about this story is how many problems this woman's actually been hit by during the pandemic. You may have heard of someone who's lost a job or waited for unemployment benefits, or maybe even has been evicted. Well, this woman, what really jumped out, she's faced all those problems and all at the same time. So in March, she told us she had a job as a manufacturing company, and she lost that job. She was furloughed. Then she waited 7 weeks for unemployment. She finally got that. But on top of losing her job, because her bills were adding up, she actually couldn't pay rent, and then eventually was evicted, is what she tells us. So she's a single mom. She has a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. And so this is all really, we called it, a perfect storm of pandemic problems because, really, this is just a number of factors where a lot of people are dealing with usual problems, and she's really been hit by them all at the same time. And you might think that that's enough for any one person to endure. But in addition to that, we've all seen people around us, we hear about people getting stimulus checks. Well, her stimulus check never came. And she says she called the IRS. And when she spent hours on the phone with the IRS, in addition to everything else I just told you that she's been dealing with, she told us that the IRS told her the reason stimulus check yet is because she was the victim of fraud. And that messed up her record in the IRS database, and she now has to correct that problem, or someone has to correct that problem before she can receive her stimulus check. So this is a single mom who has a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old who's been evicted and has now moved in with a friend and is really trying to make the best of things. But you can imagine if any of you have dealt with losing a job or struggling to get unemployment, and some of you have been evicted. Think about this woman dealing with all of that. And in addition, the one thing she's hoping she could count on is stimulus money, the stimulus check, and that hasn't arrived. And she says, if she knew it wasn't going to arrive ahead of time, she wishes she never even knew about it because she kind of budgeted that in and planned on it. She said if it wasn't going to come to her, she wishes they never would have told her it was going to come to her because it's really put her in a bind.
And dealing with fraud on top of that, I can't even imagine. And you said she's a single mom, Alex, and we know so many parents right now are having to deal with virtual learning on top of working or trying to find a job. So what did she say about trying to do all of this and take care of her kids' schooling?
I know, and the list just keeps growing. It's like in addition to everything else she's going through, now the challenge is, anyone would say, well, okay, what about getting a job? She says she's trying to get a job, but now she has another problem with the fact that her kids are doing virtual learning. They're 7 and 10 years old, and someone needs to watch them. So she has to have a very flexible job that's willing to, hire her for a couple days a week, but she also has the responsibility of watching her kids, which kind of impacts her ability to work full time. So while she's in this hole of trying to make more money, she has to be very particular, and the employers have to be very flexible in order to make it work because, that's also a responsibility. Had the year ago, she would have been able to, have her kids at school, and you can apply for whatever job she wants, full-time, part-time. Right. But now she has the obligation, of course, first and foremost, to take care of her kids. And she says that's posed some real challenges when it comes to getting a job and what she can apply for. She does say she's applied for some, but at this point haven't had any callbacks yet. So she's hoping something turns around her luck at some point.
Yeah, it's so tough because so many parents did not budget for this virtual learning. And they planned on their kids being in school, being in public school. And so now it's like they either have to stay home, which affects their job, or they have to find money somewhere for someone to help them take care of their kids or be there at home with their kids. I just can't even imagine. And this is what so many people are going through. And I'm sure you guys get emails like this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been doing week after week is, people struggling with unemployment, various stories, whether, it's just delays or people can email us at, as you can see, defenders@wcnc.com. People have picked up on what we've been doing, and we've been getting some good results, but they really come in struggling, like whether it's that they haven't had their unemployment. Some people have come in and had their unemployment denied. I personally worked on a couple stories where people have had their unemployment denied. One of them said because she didn't personally have COVID, and she said, well, I didn't apply because I personally had COVID. I applied because I was impacted by the pandemic. We did the story, and after it aired, the state reversed its decision and actually granted her benefits. That's happened on multiple occasions. So I think word's getting out, and people are hearing that we're getting results, and they understand that our Where's the Money is there to help them and get their stories across. But yeah, the struggles are continuing, and we're gathering emails from people. We're continuing to hear stories of the struggles with North Carolina's unemployment system that people are having. And we're trying to tell those stories. A lot of people, it's a complex problem. So I want to mention to people that you can go on our website too at wcnc.com/money. And we have answers on our website to get you through the process. And you might have some frequently asked questions you might have. I'd encourage you to go wcnc.com/money and check out the resource we have there. I should also mention that, for the story that's coming after the game, we did talk to a woman who's made a name for herself by helping people get out of debt, including herself. Her name's Bernadette Joy. We're going to have her on at our story after the game. And, she has some tips about people like Shiela Banner, who's this single mother who's been evicted from her home. She has tips for her about what might be able to help get you out of debt, or at least some simple steps you can take, some initial steps. And seeing that a lot of people out here are commenting, and maybe it'll apply to some of your lives as well. This woman who's made a name for herself by helping people get out of debt.
Yeah, Kenny Robinson saying, unfortunately, this is happening to a lot of families here in Charlotte. There are so many families stuck in hotels trying to do remote learning. I mean, you guys have done so many stories on this, Alex. People watching, if they need assistance as well, if they think they have a story, if they need help with money, how do they contact you guys?
Yeah, you can contact us at our email, defenders@wcnc.com. You can also contact me personally on my email, which is ashabad@wcnc.com, ashabad@wcnc.com. Just give us a summary of what you're going through. Let us know. A lot of time we're a TV station. Obviously, we try to do Zoom interviews with people, given it's a pandemic and things of that nature. So let us know if you're willing to do a Zoom interview, and we'll try to get your story on there. We'll hear you out. Put a contact information where we can reach you, whether that's a phone number, email. And you could see by the people commenting here, this every time we do one of these, more and more people come forward. And that's why we're doing these, is to get the message out and let people know we're here to help.
And change really does happen when you guys do stories. It's amazing to see once the story airs, the result of it from our Defenders stories. But Alex, why do you think it's so important that people tune in after the game to watch this story?
Yeah, I mean, whether you're one of the people who's been struggling with unemployment or others out there in the community, it's important we all come together on an issue like this when people are struggling. And we're going to have tips from someone who, like I said, made a name for herself getting people out of debt. So I think we can show you some important tips there, but also just the personal story of a woman who is a single mom. She's been struggling with her 7-year-old and her 10-year-old. And it's something that maybe you've either lost a job, you've waited for unemployment, you've been evicted, maybe something in her story, given how much, also that she's waiting for a stimulus check. If you've waited for something, you might notice something in her story that you've also gone through. Because, I mean, she really has gone through a perfect storm of problems through this pandemic. And it's important you tune in to kind of see what she's going through. Maybe you'll have a good a takeaway that could help your life as well. And we hope you tune in for Bernadette Joy, who also will be having some tips for people who are in a bind or hitting rock bottom financially.
And you've done so many great stories during all this. And of course, you can watch Alex's stories and all of our Defenders team, WCNC.com. Like he said, we have a whole page, a money section to answer your questions, to help you, to give you resources. But again, you don't want to miss Alex's story tonight. Again, whenever the football game ends, we'll be on NBC, on WCNC Charlotte. So Alex, thank you so much. And I'm so looking forward to seeing your story tonight after Sunday Night Football.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Good talking to you.
Good to
talk to you soon.
Bye.
You too. Bye.